else to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
Dude, today we got a really special collaboration between me and YouFo, but I gotta warn you, I messed it up. I screwed it all up. I can't lie. Alright, so I ran into a bunch of technical issues. This camera right here wasn't working, and a whole bunch of other stuff with my equipment went wrong. So if you don't mind, we're gonna keep the photographs, we're gonna keep the pictures and the graffiti on the screen for as long as humanly possible. Alright, my apologies, bear with me. On that note, don't forget you can check out YouFo in the description down below, along with everyone who submitted today. And you know what? We're gonna make this worth your while, because YouFo and I, we're gonna check out a graffiti artist who's got the best throw-ups I've seen in my community, hands down. In fact, this person might be worthy of like their own video, to be honest. Like, they got some really incredible work. But let's hop into it. Let's kind of jump right into things. Let's jump right into things. If you don't mind, I'm gonna start this with like a genuine question. This right here, this Rating Graffiti series is 100% like your genius idea. How did you come up with this whole entire concept of a video?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if I actually invented it. I don't know if I can like safely say that I've invented it, but I think it would come from, I don't know, maybe just people messaging me saying, hey, can you rate this? And then maybe I'm like, maybe I can just make a big compilation of doing that. I guess that's it.
We're gonna jump right in with Klutz's little piece of artwork that he threw at us right over here. The way we're gonna do this is we're gonna say one point of criticism if we have something to say, and we're going to also say one thing that we really enjoy about the piece, or throw up, you know, which you'll see later in the video. So do you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, okay. Obviously, I'm all for colors. I love the shine on the white, and yeah, I just generally like the structure of the letters. Like, it's kind of unique looking. It's kind of, you know, like, I don't know what I would call this kind of style.
One thing that I really like about this piece specifically is how they took pretty difficult letters and they were able to kind of mush them together in a way that you may not see all too often. Like, for example, right, the L tends to push things far away. The K has a tendency to do the same because the K is a pretty heavy letter, and the T also has a tendency to do the same, which that's actually part of my criticism in this piece here. But the Z is yet again another letter that has a huge tendency to just push things further away, yet they managed to go ahead and space everything perfectly enough and position everything perfectly enough in order to handle the letters well enough to, you know, to build flow, lack of negative space management, like all that stuff is spot on.
That's a really good point. Now that you pointed out, I didn't even think of that kind of stuff. I know exactly what you mean. I used to screw around with letters like that, and there's a lot of negative space, as you said, and it's cool that this person, you know, worked with that and he somehow coagulated it together where it looks somewhat good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job positioning the letters perfectly for that flow. The one criticism I have over this in general is the T itself. If we look, it's a capital T, which is supposed to have a top left and a top right that extends horizontally, and he almost entirely, or actually he did definitively entirely get rid of the top left of the T. It doesn't exist, because if you look at the bottom of the T, it projects directly to the top, meaning that there is no top left. That is a little iffy. That's my only criticism. I think for the Klutz piece, I'm gonna end up giving this a good 6, maybe 7 out of 10. I really like this one.
I reckon I'm gonna give this a 7.5 because I love how they've done the shine with the white.
The next one we're gonna go to is JP Grafos, and this one I have quite a few criticisms of. I do love the color combination. Blue and green has always been one of those color combos that is like oddly satisfying for me. I don't know what it is about blue and green, but I love those two colors together. Maybe a little bit too much, maybe to a fault, in all honesty.
Yeah, they're definitely, I like how the blue and the green and the yellow kind of go together, coagulate together. Definitely a nice color scheme. And yeah, no, loving the shading of the blue in the 3D. They've added some structure into the shadowness with the darker blue there.
On that point, to kind of like piggyback on that, I like how consistent they were with that shading as well. The way how it's, you know, pretty much all on the left-hand side. And while it's not like necessarily the most realistic shading, it doesn't always have to be, not in order to add depth, right? So the one criticism I have here is going to be the style that's kind of put into it, right? And how it kind of takes away from some of the letter structures. For example, R in its basic form is a pretty heavy letter, one of the heaviest in the alphabet. And the fact that the A, the O, and the G are all heavier than the letter R is a little strange. And the reason that'll happen, and the only way it's able to happen, is if the R lacks width in its actual boxes itself, or if it's shrunken down. Even though it's not much smaller than the A and the O, it is a little bit smaller than the G. However, if you look at the basic boxes that make up the R, you instantly see that a lot of those basic boxes are much thinner than what you would see on the O or the G. And this is why it has the lesser lesser weight. So beefing up the letters and keeping those basic boxes with consistent, width can go a really long way in order to help not only flow, but negative space management, as well as letter structure and letter name weight. That's 4 out of the 5 fundamentals that Graffiti has.
And I often deal with that. Like, I have a big problem with that, trying to keep the letters kind of uniform as the next one kind of thing, keeping the same shape and the girth and that's what she said. But you know what I mean? Like, I have problems with that, trying to keep the letters all, kind of matching in terms of sizing. Yeah. And it's a big thing to work on and master, I reckon.
Yeah, no, that definitely is one of those fundamentals that like a lot of graffiti artists kind of, take their time learning, because it is one of those more abstract concepts. It's not like, for example, just straight up letter structure where if you did the letter right or wrong. There's a definitive concrete like solution to that. As to where letter name weight, it can be a little bit more ambiguous and kind of stealthy, if you will, because there's a lot of different factors that kind of play into it that you wouldn't necessarily, think about at first. So for that reason, I'm gonna give this probably a good 3 out of 10 personally.
For this one, I'm gonna have to say 6.5 because I don't know why. 7.
6.5. Hey, perfectly fine. Now for this last one I definitely wanted to go ahead and share with you guys just because of how quality these throw-ups are. And this throw-up here is absolutely phenomenal. Like, there isn't a single thing in these throw-ups that I don't absolutely love.
Man, straight up, I love these. I love yellow. This type of yellow is one of my favorites, and the fact that yellow and red go so well together in general anyway. I just, like, the first time I saw the scheme of red outline and yellow fill, I think I was watching some of Het's Graffiti, K-E-T. You would probably know him. And yeah, I really dug how he went with yellow fill and red outline. It pops so well.
It really does. It works so well. I don't know about anybody else. Maybe it's my generation, and people from my generation will understand. But whenever I see red and yellow, I always think about Hulk Hogan. Like, hands down, his wrestling outfit. True. It reminds me too much of that. But red and yellow, definitely a great color combination. And the blue and yellow on the top throw up here is phenomenal. And both of them not only have incredible letter structure, which anyone who's new to graffiti might struggle with letter structure. You're seeing a prime example of that here. And it also has immense amounts of flow. Look at like the letter uniformity on the bottoms of the top throw up is phenomenal. Like, everything about this is top tier. I would easily give this a good 10 out of 10 without any regrets.
Oh yeah, 100% fresh. I love them very much. I love the structure. That's the kind of throwies that I want to eventually obtain myself one day, hopefully. I love it. I can't really explain how much I love it. I mean, going back to the yellow, you can't really go wrong with the color yellow in pretty much anything, especially this kind of light, kind of mustardy yellow. And yeah, I 100% give it a 10 out of 10. Mainly the red one, 100 out of 10. I don't know. It's absolutely perfect. And
broke the scale.
Like, I'd be so proud to have that as a thrower, The guy who has made and created that throwy, the bottom one, especially, legend.
Alright, that pretty much wraps up today's video. As always, be sure to go ahead and check out YouFo in the description down below. And subscribe if you're new here for the best how to do graffiti tutorials anywhere online. We got this playlist right here where you can learn pretty much everything you gotta learn, and then more graffiti content right down here. And if you want to take your learning to the next level, we even published a bunch of books which you can find in the description as well. But always, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you back here next week.